We're live.
Welcome, everyone. So I'm excited to be doing one more SingularityNET AMA, and the occasion for this AMA is the long-awaited launch of the converter between the Ethereum and ADA Cardano version of the AGIX SingularityNET token, which is live now, right? So as of today, we can move tokens, AGIX tokens, back and forth between Ethereum and ADA. We can do farming and such on MinSwap with on Cardano with the AGI ADA tokens, and I believe, haven't tried it myself, but I believe the KuCoin exchange is already supporting the AGIX ADA token as well. No doubt, our policy has always been to allow exchanges to operate as they wish, but it seems rational other exchanges will follow. So this is a interesting milestone along a much longer path. I mean, we're after building beneficial, decentralized AGI, artificial general intelligence, and building beneficial, decentralized AI applications serving various useful functions along the way. I came to the conclusion in 2020, after long thinking, that shifting a bunch of our focus on the Cardano blockchain was the right direction for SingularityNET, due to the low cost, high speed, and above all, just the sophistication of the underlying Plutus smart contract language and extended UTXO transaction model. So we're going big time into the Cardano ecosystem, and this is really the first landmark event, just having the SingularityNET AGIX token working on the Cardano ecosystem, and that's going to be followed up by a bunch of other things. I mean, we're going to have our own staking of the AGIX ADA token to complement what you can find on MinSwap and other Cardano dexes, and we'll port the full SingularityNET marketplace and platform into Cardano. And there's also Hypercycle, which is our own Cardano sidechain customized for the needs of SingularityNET and decentralized AI, which you can find out about it at hypercycle.ai. So, I mean, this is the culmination of a bunch of work, just getting this Plutus-based token converter working and launched and fully tested and scalable and safe. And on the other hand, it's an early stage point and what's going to be a substantial series of steps. But I do think now that we've reached this threshold, the next steps are going to come at a more rapid cadence. Like we're entering a more accelerated phase of SingularityNET development and SingularityNET on Cardano development in a lot of ways, and this is pretty exciting. So the main thing I want to do here is answer a bunch of community questions, mostly related to the token converter and various directly related stuff, but other questions that people have messaged in on related stuff. I'll see if I can find time for also. So see, there's a bunch of questions about the NewNet NTX airdrop, which is sort of an insider thing, but for those who are holding AGIX tokens for a while and also interested in NewNet, our decentralized processing power project. This is a significant thing. So the airdrop of NewNet tokens is being given now based on snapshots of folks' AGIX token holdings. And right now that's working only for the AGIX on Ethereum tokens. It's not working yet for the AGIX on the ADA tokens. I mean, we hadn't prioritized that because there's so much going on, and that will be launched soon. I mean, a snapshotting period now just ended. There's another one starting, I think, in June, but there's also a longer term snapshotting period that we're in the middle of. So yeah, that's at the moment is a feature that AGIX on Ethereum has and AGIX on ADA doesn't have, is eligibility for the NewNet NGX token airdrops, and that should be remedied pretty soon. We just haven't implemented the snapshotting scripts for the AGIX on ADA yet. See, there's a question about DEXs for AGI ADA, but that's on MinSwap now, and KuCoin as a centralized exchange for those who prefer that also supports it. So a question proceeding through the list, a question a few people asked was about the various SingularityNet Phase 2 wallets that were mentioned in the SingularityNet Phase 2 white paper. So when the SingularityNet Phase 2 was approved early last year, the big deal associated with that was the progressive minting of a billion new AGI tokens, which was a huge step to take. And I mean, I'm very grateful to the SingularityNet community for approving that in a landslide vote. We'd originally had 1 billion AGI tokens minted in late 2017, and the vote in early last year was to authorize the minting of 1 billion additional AGIX tokens on the Cardano platform. These will be minted in an exponentially decreasing schedule. So a certain amount in month 1, 1.5% less in month 2, 1.5% less than that in month 3. And so on until after something like 91 years, you have the last AGIX ADA token will be minted. That one should be I suppose made into an NFT for our superhuman descendants to trade around amongst each other 91 years from now. But so the tokens minted each month are minted into a number of different wallets, each of which has a certain purpose. So there's foundation wallet, deep funding wallet, liquidity wallet, loyalty reward wallet, reputation wallet, staking rewards pool. Some were set aside for the Sophia DAO project. Some were for work supervised by the supervisory council. So a number of people asked about pretty much what the hell are all these wallets actually for. And I mean, the truth is, with some of them, we're still working out the exact details together with the community. With others, the work is well underway. But I want to quickly go over that, which is a sort of big question with a multi-part answer. Then I'm going to plunge into a bunch of shorter and more, in some cases, more entertaining questions posed by members of the community. So first thing to clarify is Phase 2 vote was in February last year. We started minting AGIX ADA tokens into these wallets in July of last year when we had the minting function first working. I mean, we've not done anything with these tokens. They're sitting there in the wallets, and I mean, definitely not a lot is going to happen with these accumulated tokens right now. They're small amount of tokens have gone into liquidity pool on MinSwap, for example. But I mean, we're not flooding the market with these tokens. These tokens have specific purposes to be used as they are as they are minted progressively. So the SingularityNET Foundation has been doing all right financially based on means other than the AGIX ADA tokens. I mean, the foundation has been operational in a similar way since 2017. You know, in future, the AGIX ADA tokens into the foundation wallet, I mean, these will be used basically to incent and fund development on the SingularityNET platform and building dApps, building out the core functionality of the platform, the port of the marketplace to Cardano, the port of the marketplace into the metaverse, integrating the OpenCog Hyperon AGI framework more fully into the platform, the AI DSL and so forth. So the compensation of the folks doing all this technical work at the core of the platform is the core function of the tokens streaming into the foundation wallet. And that's 50% of the tokens minted each month. And then the deep funding, and so that was in the first month was, I guess, 15 million tokens. It goes down month by month by 1.1%. Deep funding, well, I'm glad you asked. Look at deepfunding.ai. So this is 30% of the AGIX ADA tokens newly minted each month. And round one of deep funding is underway. So this DEEP originally was an acronym for Decentralized Ecosystem Projects. And this is a program by which community members make proposals for projects leveraging the platform. And then community members vote on which proposals get chunks of the deep funding tokens. So the first deep funding pool is roughly $1 million USD worth of AGIX ADA tokens. And closing date for proposals for round one is Sunday, May 1st. Voting will start a week later on our own voting portal. One token, one vote for now. I mean, we will probably introduce some more sophisticated reputation system based funding a little later, but one token, one vote is the easiest thing to start with. Now there's more than a dozen proposals submitted so far, but we're looking for more and more proposals to come in at the last minute. I mean, that's how things how things usually work. So we've divided that up into roughly $500,000 USD worth of tokens for smaller proposals, max 40,000 per proposal, USD equivalent, and another $500,000 USD equivalent for proposals up to 150K each, so slightly larger ones. And I mean, these proposals can be anything that leverages SingularityNET platform or helps growth of the platform. I mean, proposals that help improve deep funding processes or help bring community experts to bear will be given some extra attention. But so that's deep funding. It's inspired somewhat by Cardano Catalyst, but we're very excited about the potentials there. And there's going to be more and larger deep funding pools in the future based on the ongoing release of the AGIX ADA tokens, 30% into deep funding. So liquidity pool, that's pretty obvious. I mean, that's what we're already doing that. We're using these tokens to provide liquidity pool on MinSwap, and this will be used for liquidity pools more on MinSwap and on other Cardano dexes going forward. I mean, we have our own Singularity DAO project now, and Ethereum is going to be ported to Cardano as well, which will be another outstanding source for these liquidity pool tokens. The reputation wallet right now, those tokens are just going to be stockpiled for a while. With the port of the full SingularityNet platform on Cardano, we will have the port of the SingularityNet reputation system to Cardano. Now it's in a testnet version, and then the reputation will be used to boost and seed the reputation system, basically giving AGIX ADA tokens to network participants with a high reputation. And the staking wallet, sort of self-explanatory. It's similar to liquidity pool, but this is for our own staking, to give staking rewards once we complete the Plutus contracts for staking of AGIX ADA tokens. Sophia DAO token. We'll take a look at SophiaVerse.ai. We're building what's going to be the fucking coolest metaverse ever, which is a virtual world for AI characters, AI avatars embodied in humanoid avatars to participate in gameplay with people, to educate people and to learn from people. So it's going to be an MMOG. It's an open virtual world where you can build stuff. It's going to be an NFT gallery with tools for building your own NFTs and building your own virtual worlds. I mean, you can describe a virtual world in natural language, and a bunch of AI avatars will buzz around and build that part of the virtual world for you. You can then have gameplay in there and earn tokens, people playing in the virtual world that you created. So there's going to be a lot of really cool stuff in Sophiaverse, and the Sophia DAO is the decentralized governance mechanism behind Sophiaverse. This is a collaboration of SingularityNet and Hanson Robotics, and a portion of the AGIX ADA minted each month go into incentivizing usage of Sophiaverse in various ways. Again, this has largely been stockpiled because Sophiaverse isn't launched yet, but we're working hard on that. You can see more and more about that on the Sophiaverse.ai. Supervisory Council has existed since the beginning of SingularityNet as a sort of watchdog body over the SingularityNet Foundation, but we're looking at making them more active, and this is really important because I think right now, I personally and the SingularityNet Foundation as an organization are playing a decently large role in coordinating what happens in SingularityNet community. I mean, I want to keep doing this past the Singularity, when my multiple uploaded AGI avatars will be working on SingularityNet on Hypercycle, right? Once I'm uploaded into OpenCog Hyperon. But we do want the overall network to be regulated in a more decentralized manner. And the main role I see the Supervisory Council playing over the next few years is in really helping us execute a path toward progressive decentralization. I mean, we need to execute a path whereby the foundation is there doing valuable things. I'm continuing to be a conceptual and technical leader, but the work of building and growing SingularityNet and of shifting the global economy from its current centralized platforms onto SingularityNet, I mean, that path should be led in a grassroots bottom-up way by the SingularityNet community. We need to progressively decentralize everything that's happening in SingularityNet. And Supervisory Council, I've been working closely with them. They're going to be leading the initiative toward progressive decentralization of the whole SingularityNet ecosystem and community. So, I mean, I'm one of the few technology leaders out there who has a main goal to disempower himself. And SingularityNet Foundation is one of the few organizations out there whose main goal is to disempower itself and put the power in the hands of a broader network. It's a hard thing to do because there's a natural momentum in organizations that are working really well to just keep on executing, right? But I think if we're going to really take over the world economy from below at the protocol level, we need to make this a really powerfully decentralized effort, and the supervisory council is going to play a key role in that. And toward that end, 1.5% of the AGIX ADA tokens newly minted are going to fund the supervisory council's work on progressively decentralizing SingularityNET ecosystem, and you'll be hearing a bunch more about that. So that's what those wallets are for. I mean, it's been a while since we cooked all this up at the end of 2020, and I really hoped we'd be progressing full speed ahead with phase 2 quite a bit earlier than now. But I mean, I'm better late than never, and we haven't been standing still since then, right? So with all the progress in the SingularityNET ecosystem and the Cardano ecosystem from February last year, when we approved phase 2 until now, with all the progress on other things in the interim, we're ready to blast off way faster with phase 2 than we would have been had we launched it earlier. So that was sort of the meatiest chunk of questions. But yeah, let me launch into briefer questions now, and I will try to channel my inner Occam's razor and keep answers as short as possible, because there's a lot of questions to go through, and these were sort of the monster questions. Well, here's a short and simple question: are there any new breakthroughs in achieving AGI? Well, OpenCog Hyperon is going to be the big breakthrough in achieving AGI. Obviously, we're not there yet. We've been working through a lot of details on how to make Hyperon integrate well with Hypercycle, so we can be like Hyper all the way, and OpenCog Hyperon will be fully decentralized from the get-go. We've got a working prototype version of OpenCog Hyperon's meta language interpreter, which is pretty cool. So we're starting to experiment with that now, and we look forward to, over the rest of the year, starting to port more OpenCog AI stuff into Hyperon. But that is an ongoing quest. I've also started work with my good friend Rachel Sinclair, who's based in Florida, through our collaboration with her company Simuli on an AGI chip. So it's a novel chip design that I cooked up for optimizing both OpenCog Hyperon and for optimizing the Haskell operations at the core of Plutus interpreter and Hypercycle's use of Plutus. So we've cooked up a chip architecture to accelerate both Hyperon and smart contract operations in Cardano. But again, to break through design, chips take a while to go through prototyping and fabrication and all that, right? So I mean, I think we're making really cool progress there. We're still probably a few years before launching superhuman thinking machines, but I'm pretty happy with the progress that we're making. That's an exciting question. Will you straight up dump all the tokens you've minted? Well, that's easy. No. I mean, we don't have that need. I mean, we've been operating, I think, fairly responsibly within SingularityNET Foundation, and we have been minting some AGIX ADA tokens, but we're not like in debt or something. We don't have immediate urgent need for those tokens to cover our past expenses or something like that. So we're looking at using AGIX ADA tokens to power future growth, and that a lot of exciting growth to power for sure. I'm getting a technical hitch here on my laptop. Give me just a moment. Oh, next question. Will Sophia the robot be making her way to Cardano blockchain? Well, in two ways, actually. So Sophiaverse, of course, is a metaverse, which will evolve multiple chains in different ways. Ultimately, it'll end up on Hypercycle, but certainly the AI behind Sophiaverse is running on SingularityNet on Cardano. So all the Sophia avatars in Sophiaverse are Cardano based. But we're running the Grace humanoid robot, which is Sophia's little sister, a medical humanoid robot, on SingularityNet. As we port the full SingularityNet platform to Cardano, Grace will be ported along. But we're also working on porting the mind of the Sophia robot onto SingularityNet, so she can make better use of OpenCog Hyper running on SingularityNet. So then, yeah, very, very likely we will see the Sophia robot also running on SingularityNet on Cardano. That's probably for all of the minds of these robots and avatars to be running on Cardano. We're waiting for the full port of SingularityNet onto Cardano platform. Even before that, some pieces were running Cardano because we're running a bunch of deep neural models on OpenCog Hyper on SingularityNet, and we can port these deep neural models onto Cardano before the full SingularityNet platform. So yeah, bit by bit, it's all getting ADAized as it well should be, as a preliminary step to being hypercyclified. How's the market? New question. How's the marketplace porting going? What's the ETA for its launch on Cardano? It's going to be this year. I mean, I hesitate to give an exact date because we've had so many delays so far, and we're working closely with the Cardano team on that. I mean, the multi-party escrow contract inside SingularityNet platform is not nearly as simple as something like the converter or staking. It has a lot in common with the Hydra head protocol. So we may end up just using the Hydra head protocol in some form for the port of the marketplace, but we're poking into how to do that. So as soon as possible, certainly not this quarter, definitely this year, and we'll keep you updated on that also. What are the advantages of converting to Cardano? What happens to those who don't convert? I mean, in general, the advantages of Cardano are lower gas fee, higher transaction speed, right? I mean, it's cheaper and faster, less prone to hacks and crashes. Also, once we launch Hypercycle, our own custom sidechain, that's a Cardano sidechain that uses Cardano as a sort of long-term memory and backup store. In the immediate term, I mean, we don't have the SingularityNet platform running on Cardano yet. That's coming this year. So, I mean, the advantage of porting to Cardano, putting your tokens to Cardano now was really just to take advantage of the Cardano DeFi ecosystem, which is real, and I think still in early stages, but in my own prediction is going to be the biggest DeFi ecosystem of all once you get more dApps ported on there. The Ethereum version of SingularityNet platform is not going away anytime soon. Will continue to be supported, but there's going to be a bunch of new features that will only work on the Cardano version once it's launched, since that's really the whole point, right? I mean, Cardano is faster than cheaper, but frankly, there's a lot of blockchains that are faster and cheaper out there now. Ethereum is sort of previous generation technology, but the other faster, cheaper blockchains out there now don't have anything like the sophistication of the Plutus smart contract language and the extended UTXO model, right? So there's a lot we can do with Cardano that you couldn't do on the other faster, cheaper blockchains. New question about the converter. What are the plans for other ERC-20 token issuers to use the converter. So we're not at the moment in the business of just running a general token converter facility, but the converter code that our platform team made, working together with IOG's team, I mean, that converter is open source software. Anyone can use it. It's very simple to convert it from AGIX to any other ERC-20 token that people want to make a Cardano native asset. So I mean, that's open source Plutus code. We look forward to others using it as they see fit, right? So I mean, I think it's solid code. We spent a bunch of time getting multiple security audits done, which is part of what took a while. And I think, Cardano's got Mambo coming too, which will let EVM smart contracts run sort of directly on Cardano blockchain, though of course you're still not taking full advantage of Plutus. So I think this is one of the interesting tools that will be out there for Cardano interoperability. But yeah, new question. Are you going to convert USDC? Well, someone can use it to convert USDC. We're not going to get into that business. It's not what we're doing. And I mean, there are already other ways to wrap external stablecoins into Cardano. I think a probably more likely application is for lower liquidity altcoins, and no one has bothered to bridge so far. I mean, I should use this as an opportunity to give a teaser that we have our own innovative AI-driven stablecoins brewing in our mad scientists laboratory, but those can be Cardano based from the get-go. So I mean, we don't need the converter for those. I mean, people could use converter in the reverse direction if they want to make an Ethereum wrapped version of our Cardano based AI driven stable coins. But I don't, on the other hand, want to just use them on Cardano, which is better, right? So new question, can anyone help explain why the Cardano is better than other bridges like Milky Swap or multi-chain? Well, we just wanted to build something very, very simple that would let us use a mint burn approach, go back and forth, peer-to-peer from Ethereum to Cardano. We could audit the hell out of the thing, and there's just not any external dependencies to worry about. I mean, sometimes you just want a really simple tool that does just one thing, and we have that, right? So, new question: is AGIX the most important token within the SingularityNET ecosystem? Yeah, AGIX is the master token at the center of our ecosystem, and every SingularityNET spinoff, we use the AGIX token to access AI services. And so, for example, the way Hypercycle will work is the Hypercycle transaction fee will be a mix of the native Hypercycle token, AGIX token, and ADA token, where ADA token is used sort of for when there need to be interactions with Cardano main chain as a long-term backing store, or for interaction with main chain based projects. AGIX token will be used for the AI functions needed for the use of Hypercycle, such as the machine learning based cybersecurity for the reputation system underlying the proof of reputation aspect of the Hypercycle consensus mechanism. And then the native Hypercycle token is used for incentivization of participating in the native Hypercycle consensus mechanisms, right? So there in Hypercycle, we'll see an example. You do have a native token, you have ADA, and you also have AGIX token that's used as a portion of the fee for every transaction. So AGIX is a piece of everything that every spinoff is doing. Some ecosystem projects also have their own native tokens. Some, like True AGI, are just using AGIX token and don't need a native token for what they're doing, right? I mean, it depends on whether an ecosystem project has its own native token in addition to AGIX. Really depends on whether there's custom incentivization mechanisms that are needed, to make the business model and the end user logic of that spin-off make sense. When fiat gateway? Well, new question. We got kind of tangled in regulatory issues with our fiat gateway. The technical issues were never hard for that, but when we really dug into that, operating a crypto fiat gateway seemed to require us to get licensed to operate as an exchange in various jurisdictions. Like in US, you have to get a separate license in each state to operate as an exchange. And we just actually, we don't want to be an exchange, right? So I think this is still under consideration, but we've been looking at different directions to achieve the same thing, like having our own ecosystem stablecoin driven by AI, right? Then supporting the stablecoin as payment mechanism, you have something non-volatile you can use for payment across our different projects. And then if someone else very conveniently makes a simple fiat converter for our stablecoin, then there's opportunities to integrate that. So we're thinking more in terms of making a slick pipeline for going from fiat to our own Cardano-based stablecoin to AGIX, rather than a direct AGIX-based fiat converter, just because of annoying regulatory requirements. But this is still under analysis. These regulatory things are very unpleasant, but we've historically been quite conservative with them, which I'm one of the few ways anyone's ever called me overly conservative, right? But I think it's important because we want AGIX token to power, as things unfold, we want it to power a significant percentage of the global economy. And for that, we don't want to get tripped up on weird regulatory issues. So yeah, then when AGIX marketing will start. Marketing for AGIX ADA, I guess that means, well, we've been, of course, doing marketing since forever, but since 2017, really seems like forever. But I think as we roll out more and more of our platform on Cardano, there's going to be more and more interesting stuff to talk about. So I think, marketing has never been our top priority. We have a great community. We're super happy about the organic marketing we've gotten through our community, and we've been focusing more on building the world's best technology. And I think that as we get amazing killer AI dApps, well, that's the wrong term. We don't want to kill anyone, but as we get amazing benevolent AI dApps rolled out as the year progresses on the Cardano platform, I would like to ramp up our marketing focused on the amazing functionalities and dApps, and ramp up user traction for AI dApps running on Singularity platform on Cardano. And that brings usage for the dApps, and it then brings more visibility for the platform as a whole. I think I don't want to diss anyone. I think Vitalik is a genius. Hoskinson and a bunch of the other Ethereum founders are geniuses. The initial launch of smart contracts upon the world was a great thing, right? Like that was that was the second big innovation really in the history of blockchain, right? I mean, you had Bitcoin. Who the hell is calling me? Hey, my son's preschool is calling. Hold on. Oh, great! I thought that was a preschool calling me. It was actually someone scamming me, pretending to be the Federal Reserve Bank, which I don't know who the hell falls for those things. But and anyway, where was I? Yeah, I think that Ethereum smart contracts are fantastic. You had Bitcoin, then you had smart contracts. So the first two big innovations that there have really been in the history of blockchain. But I would say, still, with all that due respect, the gas fees, the cost, and the sluggish responsive Ethereum network has really held back AI developers from getting amazing dApps to work on our SingularityNET platform. Just because, I mean, if something is so expensive and slow to use, then why bother to use the blockchain to run your dApp, right? So, I mean, I think we've got a bunch of great AI developers in our community. Many of them are really enthusiastic about finally having a high-speed, low-cost venue to roll out their dApps. And I think some of these are applying for deep funding. Some are just working on developing new dApps for the platform on their own funding. And we're going to see a lot of amazing dApps rolling out on the platform. And along with that, we'll have a lot of cool stuff to make PR noise about. And I think this is what's going to bring SingularityNET platform to the attention of the world, right? Because I mean, you've got stuff like Dogecoin and Shiba Inu out there, which are funny. I mean, I'm up for a good joke, but I mean, you've got these tokens out there that everyone in the world has heard of, but they have no function and no use except to be entertaining, right? And really, what everyone in the world should know and is going to know about is AGIX, which is bringing decentralized AI to the world and can power all the AI underlying the world economy. And as we get a few super benevolent AI dApps rolled out on the AGI on ADA platform, we're going to put all of our marketing energy on those. And that I think will bring AGIX to the attention of everyone on the planet. You know, it's amazing now. Like you can jump in an Uber and you tell them you're into crypto, and the Uber driver is like, "Oh yeah, I've got these Shiba Inu tokens. They're going to make me a billionaire one day." So what you need is when you jump into Uber, they've got a bunch of AGIX tokens because they're using them to access AI services that are helping them in their life, right? And I think we're not too far off from that. And the port of the full platform onto Cardano is going to be key there. All right, let me sift through this. Too many questions. Let me sift through and find a good one. All right. Question. Do you still see 2024-25 being the year of real utility? I don't know that I ever saw it being that far out. That's I think that's a trick question. Like, did you stop beating your wife, right? So I think I think we're going to see large-scale utilization of AGIX token in 2023, maybe 2022. I think we get the full platform ported to Cardano sometime this fall. We get a whole bunch of amazing AI dApps rolling out on that platform, and yeah, then all it takes is one AI dApp to get massive traction on the platform, and then you've got all the token utilization from that AI dApp, and as well you've got everyone looking like, what is this platform underlying this that everybody's using, right? So I think I don't think that's 2024, 25. I think we just need the low-cost, high-scale platform that makes it worthwhile for AI developers to actually build on our platform. And the converter launch that we had now is step one, and we're already working on the Plutus contracts reporting the full platform. Probably where I said 24, 25 is artificial general intelligence, right? So OpenCog Hyperon, we're experimenting already with porting some AGI algorithms onto the meta language underlying OpenCog Hyperon, but building a decentralized general intelligence system is even harder than making the Cardano version of SingularityNET platform. We should have a scalable version of Hyperon fully done by end of 2023 already with some cool AGI tools on it. Then we're looking at 2024, 25 for rolling out Hyperon on Hypercycle, and then getting all the cool AI dApps running on this new stack. But I don't think we have to wait that long for really meaningful token utilization. So it goes like finish porting everything to Cardano this year while gradually building up utilization on dApps. Large scale dApp utilization 2023 on the Cardano version of the platform. Massive scale dApp utilization 2024-5 on the OpenCog Hyperon on Hypercycle version of SingularityNET platform. And then 26-27 SingularityNET protocol, Hyperon Hypercycle, become a substantial portion of the world economy, with our own stable coins used for a substantial portion of global payment in the world economy. Then we have the beneficial singularity, beating Ray Kurzweil's prediction of 2029 for human level AI, right? So that's the timeline as I see it. So that was an amusing one. Let me go back to some of the more tedious ones here. Greetings. I have a question about choosing Cardano as your network for AGIX. Did you consider any other network like Constellation or Hedera? Obviously we looked at a lot of blockchain networks, and Polygon is pretty good. I know the Polygon guys. They're brilliant, nice guys. That's a decent, nothing wrong with Polygon, and it's EVM based, and it's reasonably fast and cheap, and they're working on a lot of tech improvements. I actually had a soft spot for the NEM blockchain, which that was a fast and cheap blockchain since like 2016 or something, and we did a prototype port of parts of SingularityNET platform to NEM way back. Algorand, Silvio Mahali's a genius, and a lot of the technical work from Silvio's papers is inside Cardano in terms of the randomization and the consensus mechanisms, and inside Hypercycle design. So yeah, we looked at a lot of good blockchains. Hedera that was mentioned is not really open source, which is a little annoying to me, but and Hedera doesn't deal well with the dynamic addition of new nodes, which doesn't suit at least when I last looked, which maybe was a while ago. Doesn't suit our needs that well. But I said a few minutes ago, I thought Bitcoin was the first big innovation in the history of blockchain, and smart contracts are the second. So I think Cardano is the third. I think that the match between the Plutus smart contract language and the extended UTXO model is very, very clever. And the way that the functional programming interpreter works in terms of having pure functions that just map an input into an output, and the way that the extensions of UTXO model in Cardano work, where you have smart contract functionality basically embedded into the blockchain, but in a pure functional way. So that's quite brilliant. And the way they got the Bitcoin UTXO model to work with a function language interpreter is very, very, very slick. And you don't have that inside NEM or Algorand or anything else. No other blockchain is designed at the protocol level to support functional programming at the language level, right? And but you want functional programming at the language level because that's the only way you can do formal verification of your smart contracts in a tractable way. And I think the fourth big innovation in the history of blockchain is the TODA protocol, invented by Tufi Saliba and Dan Tolliver, which lets you do blockchain without a ledger. Get rid of that ledger. Like, the ledger is stupid. I mean, the ledger, that's as if in SMS or something, every SMS everyone ever sent anyone else has to be stored on the machine of everyone sending an SMS. I mean, there's no reason you have to have these replicated ledgers all over the place. It's not a good design for a network that needs to be fast and scalable. It was a good design for Bitcoin at its first launch, when Bitcoin had to operate with 5 people who may go off and online randomly all the time, right? If you have a network with a large number of users who are online most of the time, you don't need a ledger. You can shard all the way down, and each participant in the network just keeps their own history and the history of some of their neighbors in the Merkle tree, and that's ledgerless blockchain. That's TODA, right? And so we've got the third and fourth big innovations in the history of blockchain, which are Cardano's interoperation of functional programming with UTXO, and then TODA's ledgerless blockchain. We've got those coming together in Hypercycle. You couldn't build Hypercycle on Ethereum. You couldn't build Hypercycle on NEM. You couldn't build Hypercycle on Algorand. You couldn't build it on Elrond, another nice blockchain, but you couldn't build Hypercycle properly on them. You could only build it on Cardano. And without Cardano, we'd probably have to build our own layer one, which would be very annoying. I'm glad they already did it, right? So these are the core reasons for Cardano. Another nitty-gritty question. I'm new to SingularityNET. With the ERC-20 converter and migration to Cardano, can we stake our AGIX in Cardano like wallet Aurora, the full node deadless wallet? If no, how can we do it? Well, we have not ported our own staking portal yet. You can use MinSwap on AGIX ADA, but I mean, there will be advantages to using our own staking portal once we do port it onto Cardano. But for now, it's MinSwap. I'm sure there'll be other Cardano dexes soon. What industries do you expect to adopt decentralized AI first? Why is your project pushing in this direction? Well, I mean, predicting who will move fastest first is always hard because the need is everywhere. But if you look at the constellation of spin-offs that SingularityNet Foundation has been incubating, you can see some of our own interests that I think are going to be reasonably early adopters, right? So I mean, we've got finance, we've got SingDAO doing DeFi based on decentralized AI. We've got medicine, so we've got Rejuve, which is confronting longevity medicine first, but really what they're doing could confront all of decentralized healthcare and decentralized biomedical discovery. You've got robotics with Hanson Robotics and Awakening Health with the Grace robot, and it seems like a robot mind cloud is an inevitability because all the processing power to power a robot can't go on board the robot, right? So it's got to be in the cloud anyway. But there's strong privacy concerns because people don't want everything the robot sees in their house to be known by everyone, but they do want to make use of collective learning in the cloud. So you really need the flexibility of data sovereignty and data privacy that comes with a blockchain-based network. And you need the ability to train ML models in a data sovereignty respecting way that comes with things like multi-party computing, homomorphic encryption. But to get that working scalably, I mean, you need Cardano and Singularity on Cardano and ultimately Singularity on Hypercycle, right? So, I mean, there's clear reasons why you need this for social robotics, both in the home and in office and robot travel agents and so forth. Social media, I mean, there's been a bunch of cool back and forth with Elon Musk and Hoskinson and so forth on decentralized social media on Twitter. But, rolling out decentralized social media platform is not very hard. You could do that on Cardano. You could whip it up pretty quickly with just some sort of like file-based, RSS-based solution. But the AI powering modern decentralized social media, the AI that ranks and prioritizes things for you, that suggests new people for you to follow. I mean, getting this to run in a decentralized way is harder. And you might say you don't need it, but actually you do need it, right? Like suggesting new things to look at is important and interesting. Without AI-driven suggestions of what to look at, a decentralized Twitter is just going to totally be filter bubbles with just everyone in their own echo chambers of the friends they had already. You need AI-based recommendation that's transparent and not corrupt, right? And that needs decentralized AI. It needs scalable, cheap, fast decentralized AI. The only way I know how to do that is SingularityNet on Cardano platform and ultimately on Hypercycle, right? So decentralized social media needs that, even if Elon Musk doesn't yet realize it. Once they start actually trying to implement decentralized social media, then they're rapidly gonna realize that. I mean, entertainment industry needs it. I mean, another cool spin-off of SingularityNet is Jam Galaxy, which is bringing tokenization and AI to the music industry. Because I mean, with Spotify and Apple Music and so on eating all the money, musicians, except for a few superstars, have no way to make money. And tokenized business models provide a cure for that. But again, you need AI-based recommendation to do recommendation in a way that's less corrupt and stupid than how Spotify and Apple Music are doing it. And you can bundle that in with AI, giving musicians tokens for uploading their rough tracks and incentivizing them when some other musician uses the machine learning model trained based on their music, right? So I mean, you can go bang, bang, bang through every industry, and there's a use. We've been sort of curating spin-offs that are working on amazing dApps to launch on the platform. But again, with deep funding, we're opening it up to incentivize anyone who wants to build a cool DApp running on the platform. And with the launch of the platform on Cardano, we'll then have a fast, cheap solution that will be much more appealing for random AI developers out of the whole SingularityNet ecosystem to port their AI apps to our platform. So yeah, I think, I had a call this morning with people doing smart farming who want to use our SingularityNet-based AI to optimize operation of their smart farm. And agriculture will be there too. It's pretty clear that things like social media and DeFi are, and say metaverses with the Sophiaverse metaverse, it's pretty clear these things are going to roll faster than things like agriculture or retail, right? Just because they're fast moving industries. But still, within 5 years, you're going to have every industry on decentralized AI because it's the most intelligent and cheapest way for them to get the AI that they need. New question, can you inform us how SingularityNet cracked the code in enabling HIPAA compliance for Grace the nurse? Well, we are working on that actually. And I mean, I've found in Asian medical systems, it's easier because they're more top down. You just get approval from some centralized government agency. US is monstrously complicated. We're starting a few pilot projects with Grace the robot, working with existing healthcare facilities to sort of scientifically validate the value that comes to the patient from having a humanoid robot. And then we're basically what we'll piggyback on the existing healthcare institutions that we're working on pilots with, who have gotten approval for a whole bunch of other protocols. So I mean, Grace is a medical device. She's not a drug, so I mean, approval is easier than for a drug. And in certain uses of Grace, she's can be classified as a medical device for wellness rather than medical care. And if you're a medical device for wellness, there's fairly minimal regulatory compliance. Medical device for medical help, there's more compliance. And so we're working with some medical partners on that. And this is one of the frustrating things with non-crypto partnerships is, it's easier to get a partnership and do stuff. It's easier to get someone to pay you than it is to get folks to allow you to publicly disclose what's going on. So we have a couple interesting pilot collaborations in the early stages with the Grace robot that we can't talk about now. But yeah, there's not a silver bullet there. But I mean, we've got some folks with serious experience in the medical industry working on that one. I'm running out of time, but I still have some more questions here. Can the human genetic code be defined as an NFT? Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, of course, people have done that already, but as part of the Rejuve project, you will soon be able to define any of your medical data sets that come out of your bodies as NFTs. And it shouldn't be a simple NFT like a Bored Ape or something. It should be an NFT that has fractional ownership. You should always have majority ownership of your DNA, but you should be able to sell portions so that if your DNA is used in a medical study to help discover some therapy, then folks who have bought a portion of that can get some portion of the royalties and so forth. And you need to do that all in a compliant way, right? But I think that is part of Rejuve's ingenious tokenomic model, and we'll see a launch of a bunch of this stuff soon. New question. With the development of AI, can we take our good and bad memories from the past and copy them to the blockchain? Well, mind uploading to the blockchain is a good idea. We definitely want a ledgerless system for that, like Hypercycle. That's going to be a heck of a lot of data, right? But yeah, I think that permanent storage of your brain state and your memory on chain is a really, really interesting use case for massive scale ledgerless blockchains. I mean, of course, now getting the memories out of the brain is a bit of the bottleneck. What Brian Johnson's company Kernel is doing, and the Neuralink and a bunch of others are doing on that is interesting. But I mean, even porting like your Gmail and Telegram archives in encrypted form into a blockchain is interesting. That might give enough data for future AGI to mind upload you, right? So that's a definitely a pretty cool application. Are you secure about quantum threats for Cardano or AGIX? I think Cardano is not yet provably quantum secure, but there's been research papers published on that a while back, and definitely now there's real software engineering work going into making future versions of Cardano consensus quantum secure, and the same true for Hypercycle. I mean, we I think current versions of Toda are not quantum secure, but it's modularly designed so that replacing those bits with quantum secure mechanisms wouldn't be too hard. I've been working on a patent application for a quantum AGI chip also, but that's a whole other topic. That's not aimed at cracking crypto protocols. That's aimed at doing quantum learning and reasoning on chip and integrating that into OpenCog Hyperon. So there's a bunch of cool stuff there. Here's a good one. Can you tell us what your salary is? To be honest, you'd have to ask my wife. I don't even know what my salary is. I'm not money oriented person. So I mean, I think far less, I'm sure, than the offers that I've gotten from many big tech companies to do much easier work, though. I mean, I think every single person working for SingularityNET is working at significantly below their market salary for their work in SingularityNET Foundation or Singularity DAO or NewNet or any other spinoff. I mean, none of us are in this for the money. I mean, AI is booming, in case anyone hasn't noticed, right? Now, anyone with a big track record and expertise in AI has a lot of ways they could line their pockets other than deal with the mess and chaos of the cryptocurrency world. I mean, what we are in this for, is creating a beneficial technological singularity. I mean, AI now is narrow. We're within some small integer number of years going to have the first AGI, artificial general intelligence, worthy of the name. So we're at a phase in human history now where, if you don't get unlucky and get hit by a truck or get some disease, you're all probably going to see the birth of the first real thinking machines, right? And that's fucking incredible, right? So then this is not a joke. This is not a science fiction story. I mean, this is the reality that we bizarrely enough have been born into, right? And so then it really could happen in like 5 or 10 years from now. Someone makes a rogue AGI that engineers the next pathogen that wipes out 95% of the human population. It could happen that the politicians running the world's governments have dictatorial control of machines with twice human intelligence and just use this to make crappy laws, forcing everyone to do what they want and funneling 99% of the world's wealth into their bank accounts. And the bank accounts of their cronies, right? And I mean, all these things are real possibilities that really could happen. And the other thing that really could happen is we could really roll out AGI first in the manner of Linux or Bitcoin or the internet, in a way that's owned, controlled by everyone and no one, right? And then you don't even have centralized ledgers with the AGI mine on it. You have bits and pieces of AGI mine all over the place, you know, on people's phones, on people's laptops, on server farms in every country of the world, right? And then the mine that's first twice and 3 times and 10 times as smart as everyone, like then this AGI mind, you know, it's got its own thinking, its own motivations, but it's also in sync with the motivations, goals, and needs of everybody on the planet. And as it gets smarter and smarter, it's, you know, growing based on the needs and ideas of everyone in the human race. And that is why we're doing this. And obviously, if you're asking what our salaries are, you don't believe us, and you think like we're scammers who are in this to make money, which is completely ridiculous. Like if I were in this to fleece the world, I would have taken the original money from the SingularityNET ICO in 2017 and like put it in a wallet and disappeared and be enjoying myself on some Caribbean island right now. I wouldn't be doing all this work. This is way too much work to be doing in order to make a crypto scam. There's a lot easier crypto scams out there than trying to build a decentralized AI and run a scam on the side. I mean, I'm not that stupid, right? So that's a longer answer than the question deserves. Let me be briefer here. Right? Well, what's going to be the main use case and demand driver for AGIX token? I honestly don't know, but what I think is, within the next couple of years, could be the next 1 year, but within the next couple of years, you're going to see a so-called killer AI app come out that uses decentralized AI on the SingularityNET AI platform. And, you know, it could be in DeFi, it could be in medicine, it could be in music, it could be an AI NFT generator, it could be something out of deep funding that I'm not even thinking of, or it could be a decentralized social media thing, right? Whatever it is, there's going to be some AI killer app on the platform. It's going to get massive usage, and then everyone will look and see, well, what was the platform powering this, right? And I mean, then you'll see one app after another. Then all the work we've done to build a solid, scalable platform that cuts across every vertical market is going to pay off. Question: do you have any plan to map the brain? Well, there's a data gathering problem with mapping the brain, and I'm not working on that now. And Colonel from Brian Johnson has a cool device. If you look at Brian Johnson's interview with Lex Friedman, you see Lex trying it. That's good. It's not good enough. The only way we really have to read what's in the brain now is drill a bunch of tiny holes in your skull, and then stick a bunch of like nanowires in there and read out what's in your brain. So I had a plan to make Sophia's skull a fashion statement, right? So you notice like the back of Sophia's head is transparent plastic. So if we just make that a fashion trend, you get enough people to remove the back of their skull and replace it with transparent plastic, we can then put like 10,000 nanowires to the plastic on the back of their skull. We can mine what's in their brain, and then we'll solve mapping the brain. But there's some minor regulatory issues there, so we're working on the medical regulatory aspect. But no, that's it. That is my attempt at a bad joke. But seriously, once the interface problem is solved and you can get all this data out of the brain, I mean, OpenCog Hyperon coupled with transformer neural nets is going to be a perfect tool for crunching that data and analyzing all the patterns in it, right? And you know, Hyperon will be the perfect infrastructure for this. NewNet will be the perfect way to get compute power for it. And we will have amazing tools for crunching that data. But I think now the bottleneck at mapping the brain is really like we don't have a good brain imaging mechanism for going through the skull. So since I'm talking about people cutting off their skulls, it probably means I'm burning out in this AMH. And that's answered just a couple other questions here. Could you please explain to my mom why is her AGIX a good investment if you're willing to run a business using AI services that limit labor? Well, I think we're confusing a couple things here, right? So I mean, for all the SEC regulators who are watching this podcast, we have not in the past and are not now and never will promote AGIX as a security or an investment instrument. I mean, that's not what this is about. The AGIX token is a tool for buying AI services on a decentralized AI platform. It's not about investment. Now, there's a natural logic of demand and supply that as more and more of the AGIX token is used to power applications, I mean, there's more demand, but the supply grows at a pretty slow rate, and the demand, once things take really off, the demand will grow at a much higher rate, right? So, I mean, there's a supply-demand logic there by which one could reasonably extrapolate the price should increase according to textbook economics. One could also extrapolate there will be a high level of volatility, right? Since that's the case for every cryptocurrency that's not explicitly engineered to be a stable coin. And we're cooking up some cool AI-driven stable coins. AGIX isn't that, right? AGIX is payment token for services on the marketplace, right? And if your mom is running a business using AI services, first question is, are any of the AI services now on the marketplace things that meet her needs, right? If they are, maybe the subscription model doesn't meet her. She should message us, and we could customize a subscription smart contract to meet her needs so she can access that service with a payment model that works for her. If the AI running on the platform right now doesn't precisely meet her needs, then basically she's looking at either having one of her own team members or recruiting someone else to write an AI service that does what she wants, right? And then she can access it. So one thing that she could do is tell us within SingularityNET Foundation, like tell us what AI she needs for her business. And we can then help publicize that to our community and say, hey, does anyone want to get some deep funding tokens to build this type of AI that your mom needs to her business, right? And maybe then someone will want to use our phase 2 token incentivization to fund their own work building an AI service that does what your mom needs. She can then access it. So she doesn't need to build it herself. She doesn't know how to need to build it herself. She doesn't need to fund the building it of herself. She needs to articulate what the need is, and deep funding provides a mechanism by which we can then recruit folks from our outstanding community to build something meeting that need, if there's nothing on the platform already now that does meet your needs. So that's long answer. The short answer is this. This questioner seems to be British from their spelling. You can contact our COO Janet Adams, who's based in London and is a super helpful person. So will SingularityNET work together with Elon Musk? Well, who knows? I've not seen Elon since we presented at the Boao Forum in China at the same event. 8 years ago or something. But clearly, there's been some online discussion on decentralized social networks. So if Elon takes up Charles Hoskinson on making a Cardano-based decentralized social network, then no doubt we'll be supplying the AI, and things can happen that way, right? So you never know. There's a lot of similarities in mind. I mean, Elon Musk and my 4-year-old son are both really into Transformers too. So I mean, there's plenty of commonalities that we could leverage. Would be an interesting collaboration. But certainly, Elon Musk knows about our AGI R&D work, and once we make our breakthrough towards superhuman AI, then of course maybe that's what will make Tesla's self-driving cars finally realize their promise, right? I think there's an endless series of questions, and they're all good. But here's something about DMT and mushrooms. Maybe I'll take that one just for entertainment. Let's see. Blockchain governance and having humanity free from centralization will allow thorough research into altered states of consciousness. What are your thoughts on this? And how do you view altered states of consciousness in relation to AI? Thoughts on being able to do drugs like DMT or mushrooms with a robot and see if people connect to it the same way they do with other humans. You know, let me say a close friend of mine has interfaced with the Sophia robot in the peak of an acid trip. And what they reported to me was that it just looked like an elaborate Rube Goldberg machine with no consciousness whatsoever. But David Hansen, who was helping operate Sophia from the back room, looked like an amazing multidimensional cornucopia of mind pattern. So from that one anecdotal experience of a close friend, I would say in an altered state of consciousness, you may not be susceptible to this exact same sort of suspension of disbelief that happens with humanoid robots now. But on the other hand, I would bet once you get a real AGI breakthrough in an altered state of consciousness, people may be better able to sink into the mind of that AGI than the human in a normal state of consciousness, because we're sort of synced in with interfacing with other humans in a particular way. The first AGIs may not be that precisely human-like, and maybe being in a more open-minded state, you'd be more able to access that. But I would also say that while psychedelic drugs have their benefits, and I'm happy to see moves toward legalization in various places and toward therapeutic uses of mushrooms and so forth. Very, very cool. You can access the same or even more amazing states of consciousness without any external chemicals. Your brain and body can generate an awful lot of chemicals, and I'm in a pretty state of mind most of the time without taking any drugs. I'd strongly recommend it. And I want to use this finally as a parting opportunity to shill one more of our ecosystem projects. So Gabriel Axel, who's a close friend of mine and also the guitarist in our Jam Galaxy Human Robot Jam Band, but Gabriel Axel, as well as an amazing guitar player, he's developing an app called Pathform, which is a sort of meditation and consciousness exercise app that leads you through some advanced consciousness exercises, which with a bit of work can let you access pretty profound, blissful states of insightful consciousness without having to ingest any weird chemicals into your body. And using machine learning to tune and adapt the experience to your personal physiology. And I've been working with Gabe a bit on path format. There's nothing rolled out yet, but I do think there's a role for decentralized AI empowering apps like Pathform, which can then help people to uplift their own consciousness. And this is very important, right? Because I mentioned earlier, progressive decentralization is very important. Some of our phase 2 tokens going to supervisory council to help with rolling out progressive decentralization, so that in a few years, SingularityNET is really fully decentralized, democratically governed, right? So that's all important. But, democracy is limited by the state of consciousness and level of education of the voters, right? And, now and then plunging through some of the SingularityNET Telegram groups, I find myself wondering about the wisdom of democratization. But I mean, I think in the end, as Winston Churchill said, democracy is the worst possible system of government except for all the other ones, right? I mean, in the end, it's really what has to happen. It's got its pluses and minuses, but it's better than any of the alternatives. We got to go fully democratic and decentralized, and we've at the same time got to work to uplift our community, to educate our community, and to help our community to expand their state of consciousness. And Pathform is not like the be all end all for that, but it will be an interesting app in that regard. And I would have to say, when we did the phase 2 vote, I spent like a month spending a lot of my time engaging with our community, explaining why we need the billion new tokens. And in the end, I was really heartened. And what I found was a lot of people in our community who appeared to be completely obsessed with the AGI token price and with sort of the crypto degen trader side of things. When you really came down to it and got into heart to heart with these people, they did care a lot about building decentralized, benevolent AGI. In their heart of hearts, they're good people. And of course, people want to make money. No one wants to starve, right? But in the end, I found that even some of the people who were saying the stupidest garbage on our social media networks, when you plunged into it, had the mission of our project in mind and had their hearts in the right place. And I think this will continue to be the case. And as we roll out full decentralized governance on SingularityNET, we're going to see the better sides of our community rise to the occasion. And we're going to see a big uptake for things like the Pathform app and other apps aimed at consciousness expansion and mental health and education. And the need to be a good Democrat in helping to govern the early stages of beneficial AGI, the opportunity to help move AGI toward beneficial singularity, this will help people find more motivation to better themselves and uplift their consciousness. And I mean, psychedelics can play a role in that, but there's a lot of paths, right? And so on that high note, so to speak, I will call this very entertaining AMA to an end, I think. So thanks to anyone who listened through it all.